Imagine from the outside world, it was a great game to watch. We started the game really well. We were really dominant in that first half. Scored the first one, continued playing, scored the second one. And then just before halftime, we conceded the goal and we gave Liverpool some momentum. I think we started the second half, the first few minutes good, and then we lost control.
It was actually an open game, but first chance, bam, the team with confidence scores. Open game, the team with confidence scores with the second situation. And then we had to find a way back, and thankfully, and thank God this time we found a way back.
And you got the crowd going. How was that noise in the second half? That was the true Anfield experience, I guess.
I think everybody knows the crowds it's always amazing, and it helps us also in difficult moments like today. And I think we are really thankful and grateful that they're doing that.
Yeah, after the goal, the game changed a bit. They got their momentum, and we didn't manage to keep the ball, and we gave away the ball in stupid situations, and they created a lot of chances. So Aaron was really good back there and saved us in many occasions. But frustrated not to win, but in the end we have to take the point and move on.
Yeah, well, Arsenal's search for a win at Anfield continues, Righty. But it was a fantastic game. It had everything. The entertainment was there.
Yep.
And I suppose one of Arsenal's strengths this season has been starting the game quickly.
They have been starting the games quickly. And they've done well when they started the games quickly. And we knew that today it was going to be our wing-backs against their full-backs. You know that Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to have a lot of problems with Martinelli if you can get them isolated in this kind of situation. So when this happened, I was saying, take him on, because let him know that this is going to be happening all day. And that's what he done. Took him on, and like you heard Jurgen Klopp say, we were confident, we went for him, and we got something out of that. The same with this. This is where the goal comes from. Again, brilliant space to attack. Unfortunately for Andy Robertson, he slips here, but great movement from Saka, and then once he gets in there, we get a little bit of luck. We've got the three guys up against their four, and once we get into this situation, we get a little bit of luck there. It comes off Virgil, but then just enough awareness to be able to poke that in, and I think deservedly we go a goal up. Again, you can see how wide Martinelli is there, but then you look at Zinchenko. Zinchenko's the one here where I'm feeling like in maybe another situation, we maybe create a better goal-scoring chance. Once he moves around him, Xhaka going around Martinelli, look at the space opening up for Zinchenko there. Now we just need maybe a better shot or somebody on the end of that. And then look at this one. This is really nice. You see Ødegaard's in there now with Robertson, so he's got a problem, because if we could switch this ball quick enough, Arsenal, then Robertson's got a problem. It does get switched quick enough. It's great movement from Ødegaard to take him inside. And once this goes inside here, Jesus on the back, just can't get there, just stretching, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And then here, look, if you haven't got any pressure on the ball, I cannot understand why Liverpool have got such a high line there. You can see that, Stevie. Once this goes in there, now you've got a problem, because Jesus is in a perfect position. Can Andy Robertson get in closer or tighter? No, because the ball's too good. Brilliant header, 2-0, and now you saw what I was like in the office.
You wanted the champagne already, the champagne on ice.
On ice.
Well, when Wrighty was asking for the champagne, you were asking for a taxi home.
I was on my way home.
But you cancelled it.
I did.
Tell us why.
Yeah, in the 41st minute, Granit Xhaka, he just gets carried away. Just so eager to well, you look at this incident here. He thinks it should be a foul by Konate. It's not a foul. Then he reacts as soon as he gets up, and he just leaves a little bit of an arm in on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold reacts to the situation as well. But what he does is he just picks the crowd up at Anfield, and the atmosphere just got energised completely, and you just sensed why, or just felt, why have you done it? Why have you done that in that situation? Just a minute later, Ben White gets drawn into a position that he doesn't really need to go in with Jota. Recover quickly. Curtis Jones finds himself down the left-hand side, driving into the penalty box now, and this is what we haven't seen for a while from Liverpool. Lovely little overlap, great flip from Curtis Jones, and Salah finds himself just the tiniest bit of space, because he'd been marked out the game by Gabriel up until this point. And then in the second half, 10 minutes in, Jota brought down by an eager Rob Holding. He wants to nick the ball. He doesn't think it's a penalty. It is. It's a clear penalty. Kicks through Diogo Jota. And it was a good start to the second half from Liverpool, or so we thought. Mohamed Salah puts it wide. He'd missed one against Bournemouth the week before. I'm just not so keen on the run-up. It's a wide run-up. There's only one place it can go, and he's looking for that far corner. And then late on in the game, they made a change, Liverpool. They brought on Roberto Firmino, but then it was the link-up play between Jordan Henderson and Trent Alexander-Arnold here. But Zinchenko, you have to defend this like your life depends on it. You have to stop this ball coming into the box, and he doesn't deal with it. Little nutmeg, and we pick up Roberto Firmino here, unmarked, in around the penalty spot, and he just gets a jump on Ben White at the back post and puts it in. And Arsenal will be glad to see the back of him when he leaves Liverpool, because he has been a constant threat.
I remember rightly when he was coming on, you were saying, "Oh no,
I said,
oh no."
He's like Drogba to us. Drogba, Chelsea, he's the same. He scores against us all the time.
But look, let's take a look at this, because we're talking about that incident that when you cancelled your taxi with Granit Xhaka right here, because it actually does show the difference, righty?
Yeah, but listen, it doesn't take much to get that crowd going. You know what I mean? I'm not, even if I don't care, even if Granit Xhaka went in there and slapped someone, it's not going to get that crowd going any more than they're going to get going. The fact is that he's been brilliant for us this season. And I think the narrative is people are trying to point at someone. That's how Granit Xhaka plays. He'd probably play like that if he's playing in his own garden. I wouldn't put that on him. What I would put on us is the way we weren't able to kind of see that out and continue to play how we played in the first half. But I think we learned a lot from that game. A lot of people have gone to Liverpool and can't get that. I'm delighted with that draw. I'm delighted with that point. And we should be happy with that point. Because when's the last time we won there? What, 2012 or something?
Yeah.
We've got to take that point and be very happy. A lot of teams have got felt at Liverpool.
Well, you're saying about actually seeing the game out. Someone that kept Arsenal in the game and came up big was Ramsdale.
Aaron Ramsdale. I love Aaron Ramsdale because these saves are what, if this does happen for Arsenal, then it's because of these saves. We could have easily lost this game with the chances that Liverpool had in this game with ease saves, obviously the penalty miss, but like this one here as well, this is like you're thinking that's a guy, and it bam, he just comes out of nowhere and saves it. And if you're going to go on to do anything and win trophies, win leagues, you need a top goalkeeper, and he is. He's a top goalkeeper. He's saved us today. Absolutely saved us.
Well, look, we wanted to show all the football first because the game deserved that. But over the last couple of weeks, we've been discussing the treatment from players on officials. So it's only right, Stephen, we do it both ways. And so the incident at half-time with Robinson and Konstantin Hatzidakis is bizarre.
It is. It was drawn to our attention. You see Robertson almost go over as if to say he wants to speak to him. Whether he instigates it first by putting an arm on him first, but to the reaction, it's unacceptable. It can't happen. I'm sure it will be investigated. I'm sure that the FA and will be looking at that straight away. They'll look for a report. They'll speak to both people involved in the incident and make sure they get to the bottom of it. But after what happened with Mitrovic last week in the 8-game ban and the FA saying that wasn't enough, this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, well, after it, the PGMOL did say they are going to investigate it further, and rightly so. Righty, let's have a look at the run-in so far. You said coming into this game, if Arsenal won it, you'd be excited. How are you feeling now?
I'm still excited simply because we've gone to Liverpool, who, like I say, have been brilliant there at home, and we've got a point. And these games coming up, it doesn't really matter to me because Arsenal are trying to finish off a league. They're trying to win the league. And all those games are probably going to be tough games, but we've been dealing with that. Just like we dealt with Liverpool today. Went 2 up. It's very unfortunate in the end we didn't win it, but at the same time, I'm not afraid of any of those because they're going to cause us problems, but we will cause them problems as well.
What ones are you looking at that, Stephen? The Man City and maybe Newcastle?
The Man City and Newcastle games are the ones that stick out, aren't they? Obviously, both away games. That's where you look at that and you think Manchester City's going to be a tough game. But Newcastle, they're in the hunt for the top 4. Top 3, if you really think about how they've progressed in recent weeks.
All of them in and around that, Steve. It needs something, needs something. So this is why it's going to be so tough. It's going to be tough for us, but trying to win a league is not meant to be easy.
Yeah, and it's an exciting one, right?
Absolutely.
It's an exciting one. Right, let's get to our next game.
3 days later, I think it was in the Cup, and then we had to play against them in the Premier League or the opposite, I can't remember. And we trashed them 4-0 as well because we were so shameful about our performance and the way we had to react as a team, but individuals as well. And mentally, it was a complete opposite in space of 3 days.
Yeah, it just lit the fire, basically.
Yeah, sometimes you need extra motivation. You hurt, your feelings, you're ashamed, you don't want to go out because you lost a big game, you were ashamed on the pitch or things like this, It transforms everything, It's not the same people, that comes out the following day, in the morning at the training session. You see in people's eyes, they don't look the same way, and it's completely different.
Yeah, understood. Let's go back to the early stages of the game. really, it seems like a long time ago, but Martinelli did score, I can promise you this, in the opening 10 minutes, around the 8th minute, if I'm going to be a little bit more precise on that. Can I ask, what's Van Dijk doing here?
Well, it starts with Robertson, who makes the mistake here. And there... If you can it go back? Because he had to clear the ball. But I think he was doubting because there were 2 free Arsenal players on the other side. So I think in his mind he thought, ooh, where do I nick the ball? And he was doubting too much, and then he gave it to the other player. But you see 2 other Arsenal players on the other side, on the left side. He gets the ball here. If he clears it there, the other player is free as well.
I think it comes to Van Dijk really quickly. And in that situation as a defender, you know, you try to get a clearance in and he actually doesn't really have enough time to adjust his feet and get a good clearance in. And it breaks to Arsenal and they're hunting it down as a pack. And, you know, even here, Martinelli does brilliantly just to toe end it away from Robertson and past the keeper and into the back of the net. I think you have to give a fair amount of credit to Arsenal as well for their desire, and you know, it was a scruffy goal.
The movement of the ball as well, the running.
Yeah. But from Liverpool's perspective, I think they'll say we haven't defended well collectively or individually.
I think Van Dijk doesn't look well, Robertson doesn't look well, and it's also with the 3 front players who are not pressing because that ball came too easy. So it's all about doing the things you normally do.
On this action, for a defender, it's always very difficult to defend when you run towards your own goal. You lost position, you don't know where are your teammates, and you lost everything. You know, you are not concentrating anymore. You're just focused on the ball.
What about his role in the second one? In the second goal, Jesus, because Konaté's gone out wide. He's gone effectively to go and cover Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's still tracking back. We can question that as well.
For me, mistake, obviously. You can see Trent Alexander-Arnold, you know, he's not concentrate on the Martinelli runs. But
is he marking space, Van Dijk?
I used to play central defender and as well holding midfielder. For me, the holding midfielder, when you see that, the first thing you have to do is to protect the axis, you know. You have to come back and to replace, you know, Konaté, who's been out wide, you know, on the right-hand side. And you can see Fabinho is quite alone. He sees that. He should have made the run inside and to cover, you know, the axis.
But what I would say about Van Dijk is that once that ball has gone wide, I didn't see Van Dijk at any stage glance over his shoulder and see where an opponent, and in this situation it's Jesus, exactly where he was. The first time he looks over his shoulder is as the ball goes past him, and then he sees Jesus there, and he knows that it's too late. He can't do anything about it. That's my feeling, don't
Yeah, no, then you get exposed. But it starts again from the pass, what is given to the wing, where Trent didn't look good. Well, there was no pressure. The team was not ready, and then the shape gets too big. And in my opinion, Virgil should, you know, defend the attacker.
It looks like he's watching space.
No, he's defending the space. He's gambling in this case. He thinks, oh, if the ball comes just in front of me, I can clear it, and it's a good defense. But in this case, if you're alone as one defender and you
keep your man.
Yeah, you keep your man.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, people talking. Goalkeeper is not talking.
No communication.
Yeah, Andy Robertson is not talking. Fabinho is not coming back. So it has something to do with the team. Because the second half, you said it, Virgil van Dijk was losing challenges in the air, was not comfortable on the ball. The second half, he's winning challenges, he plays well, he goes forward.
Is he still world class? Do you still consider him a world class defender?
Yes, of course, yeah.
He
doesn't disappear like this, you know, all of a sudden. Yeah, I think confidence as well takes a huge part as well on the performance. So I'm pretty sure he'll be back at his best level. Definitely.
The point is, if you watching the first half and you analyze Virgil van Dijk's performance, you can doubt it. But if you watch the second half, he's still a world-class defender. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you know, he's gone through a difficult period as an individual defender, but so have all his team. And
I think it has more to do with the team than with the individual performances.
Yeah, I think a lot has to do with Van Basten's comments saying his ego going to collect like
it's
the best 11 and
everyone's
stuff, you know?
ego. You know, if you see Trent the first half, he was not playing well, and you see his aggressiveness the second half, he's still, you know, a world-class player,
You know,
because he's playing on the half of the opponent.
It's very hard to be at the top, but it's harder to stay at the top.
And the point is, a very small detail can change everything. It's just what you said.
Yeah. All right. We talked a lot about Trent Alexander-Arnold, perhaps a bit in a negative light, although a little bit in the attacking sense. We're going to look at Liverpool's goals in just a moment. But first, let's go back once again, this time to hear from the man himself, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Trent, it was an absolute thunderous game of football. Talk us through it from a player's point of view.
It's intense. No, very, very good game of football. I think both sides played great football at times. We never started the way we wanted to. Going 2 behind at home is never good. But we showed character, got into the game. Obviously had the late equaliser and had a huge chance at the end to go and win it. But no, take the point. But we knew it could have been 3.
What was missing in that first part of the game?
Probably just a little bit of confidence to play. Lacked the intensity that we wanted to. Not compact enough as a team. So yeah, there was a couple of things, but I think towards the end of the first half we started to play the way we wanted to, and then second half we definitely did. I think we had the better than the whole second half, and limited their chances, and I could have scored a couple of goals. So you know, against a team like that, you get punished for not starting a game quickly enough, and that's what happened today.
How much do you think the catalyst for you getting going was the coming together between you and Granit Xhaka, which seemed to lift the crowd? Is that the case? And I see you smiling there. Is that what then lifted the players?
I think a little bit of fire in a game like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I think that shows the intensity and how both teams want to win. I think he's obviously ran into me, nudged me off the ball, and you know, it's a natural reaction to then obviously go and do it back. And yeah, we could have got the crowd going, but then we matched it with the football and the intensity as well. So it worked hand in hand. And like I said, the last 5-10 minutes in the first half, we were all over them, and we came out and done the same second half.
What was it like for you today? Because one of the goals came from down your side, and also you had a big hand in the equaliser.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the goals have to come down one of the sides or through the middle. So that's the way football works. You know, you're against a quality player, Martinelli, and their attacking lines, quality all over at a team full of quality. So you know, they're bound to be threats, and you know, they've got the goal. But yeah, we stayed in the game, and we tried to put as much pressure on that, especially late on in the second half. Missed the pen as well. No, I even forgot about that. That was a big moment, but like I said, stayed in it, and no, got it late on, and it's just the fight that we have, really.
What does today give you more than the point itself?
Well, they're runaway leaders in the league with not too many games left, so it shows they're one or two of the best teams in the league, them and City. So no, the point we want every game we want to go and get 3 points. Disappointed somewhat to not get it. To not get it today, but there's lessons in there that we can play and have belief to play against a quality side like Arsenal. So giving them 2 good games, we gave them a hell of a game down at the Emirates, and you know, here again. So we've shown on numerous occasions we can go toe to toe with the best in the league.
Thanks, Trent.
Thank you.
Many thanks there to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Let's talk about Liverpool's comeback into this game. Crucial goal just moments before the half-time whistle through Mo Salah, who had a frustrating game. We'll look at his missed penalty later, and we saw some of his missed chances, but he did find his name on the score sheet. Manu, like you rightly said, it just seemed to spur them on. That little fight he had with Granit Xhaka, and it was so smooth, the way Curtis Jones backheels it to Jota, Jota to Henderson, and then his touch across goal to Salah.
He tried to shoot Henderson, you know, when Jota crossed the ball.
It was Jones.
Jones,
Yeah.
here.
But then Jota, you know, he give the ball to Jota and then cross the ball, and I think Henderson tried to score, but he missed the ball and deflected the ball, and I think Salah was on a good position at the right moment.
But it's good movement, isn't it, from Liverpool?
Yes.
It's positive movement. You've got an overlapping runner. You've got numbers in the area. Look, they've got almost 6 players in the area as it crosses the line.
It was one of the first moments you see Liverpool players moving forward. A midfielder in the box. Salah's going forward. Jota's there. Jones was in the box. That changed the game.
Yeah, and it headed into the break with the crowd literally at a fever pitch. And this is where it gets interesting, the second half. Firstly, decision for the penalty, correct or not?
In my opinion, 100% correct.
100%?
Yes.
You agree as well?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
What was your reaction when it was given?
It was not intentional from Holding, but I think it did touch, Jota.
I think there's no choice for the officials to make other than give a penalty.
Clear.
Yeah, clear cut. I don't think anybody from Arsenal particularly complained.
It is unlucky, but you should think when you are in the box and you're chasing your opponent, you always have to be careful.
Yeah.
I ask this because it's a weekend of strange decisions. But anyway, sorry, Gary.
The truth
this
is
wasn't one.
No, it's not strange. Jota has his body between the ball and the opponent.
He's intelligent to do that.
Just keep him in front.
And Holding makes contact with him, and it's a penalty, which
was a poor penalty, you would argue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shocker.
He missed one against Bournemouth, no?
Correct, yeah. Quite recently.
Yeah.
And it'll be ruining his chances there. In the grand scheme of things, they could have gone on to win the match, of course. But Ramsdale trying to play the mind games there. Did you see that? He walked out of the box, got a yellow and came back in.
They both had a mind game. The goalkeeper, but also Henderson was pretending he was taking the penalty just to take the pressure off Mo Salah, but unfortunately he didn't win it.
I think you've seen the game yesterday with Newcastle, no?
Yeah. They look to each other. They're clever.
How nerve-wracking is it in a game to step up and take a penalty? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but who scored the latest goal in a Liverpool-Arsenal match in the Premier League?
Him.
It was him. It was you. It was a penalty as well.
A penalty is
it was offside, no? Right?
No, it was definitely a penalty.
Definitely.
I think Lucas Leiva, he got it. But it's obviously different than the game, because in the game you're always in movement and things go quickly. But actually with a penalty you have time to think. And
maybe too much time?
Yeah, sometimes too much time, and there was a lot of time now. So, what I always did is just focus on your job. Just choose a corner and nick it in, and many times it goes well, as with Mo Salah. But once you miss one, sometimes you miss another, and unfortunately I missed a penalty against Arsenal as well in my career.
Oh, it's
not many, but there are
big comments, recently in France, especially after the World Cup, because many people were saying, especially former players, were saying that you have almost 90% of scoring a penalty if you train often on a training session. Me, I said it's half-half, because you don't get the emotions, the pressure, the tiredness, during the game. You're under pressure, you don't know the emotion. It's very hard sometimes to control when you kick a penalty in front of a full stadium and with the big pressure of the game. So I don't know what you think about it, but
you cannot train it. You cannot train the adrenaline, the moment of the game. Is it the first minute? Is it in extra time? Are you tired or are you fresh? What is the goalkeeper doing? So you prepare as good as possible. And back in the days,
I think sometimes it's lottery penalty. And in France, they were saying no, you cannot say it's lottery because you have to prepare it at the training session. But training session is not the same when you play competitive games.
Definitely not the same.
Yeah. For me, the only difference is what's going on in your
mind.
Head. Yeah. So on the training park, you know that whether you tuck it in the corner or you miss, it doesn't matter. In a game, it does. And so how well can you control your thought process? For me, so it's not, you practice the technique and the skill in training, and then you select that skill in the game. Now it's about letting nothing else come into your mind other than your run-up, your technique, and where you finish.
There are so many things what can happen during that time. A goalkeeper can come to you. A goalkeeper can hold the ball. somebody behind you can say something to you.
So again, it's how you deal with that,
yeah, but
isn't
you
it?
analyze the goalkeeper. You know, sometimes he stands in the middle, he doesn't dive, the other one goes high, the other one goes low. So there's always a change. So you just have to have a feeling for it. So sometimes you have strikers who score a lot of goals, and people say, oh, he's scoring easy goals. So why not every striker is scoring easy goals? And you have the same with penalty takers. There are a few penalty takers who score a lot of goals, and others who have a great kick. Most of them have a great free kick, but they can, yeah.
But when you scored that penalty that Adam referred to, I bet you didn't change your mind from the minute the penalty was awarded to the second you struck it. You had in your mind exactly how you were going to finish that.
I knew what I was going to do, but there was a lot going on.
But you didn't change your mind, did you?
2-3 minutes, but everyone trying to change my mind.
Yeah.
So, but I held my nerve. I had the confidence I could score, but a lot of people tried to change my mind.
Just a quick one. They're planning to change the rules, aren't they? Goalkeepers can do even less now because of what Emi Martinez did in the World Cup. Sorry to bring up bad memories.
That's
but
all right.
They're changing the rules. They can't move on the line. They can't take the ball. They can't speak to the penalty taker. Is it going to make it easier for players to take penalties, do you think, because of this? I know, I think it was your new national team goalkeeper, Mike Mangan. He tweeted that in the future, goalkeepers will have to face penalties
Yeah.
blindfolded, or with their back to goal, that sort of thing. Back to the penalty taker. Is it going to be easier?
I don't know, because I always hated, to take penalties. So I remember in 1998 during the World Cup, and especially against Italy, when there is the penalty at the end of the game. And I remember, the manager, Aimé Jacquet, he turned to the team and he said to the men, guys, who's going to take the penalty? And we were everyone like this, looking at the grass, looking at the air. And the youngest players in the team, Thierry Henry, David Trezeguet, they said, Gaffer, we want to take the penalty. So we were amazed because they were not touched by the pressure,
I tell you what amazes me, the fact that the penalty takers hadn't been decided pre-game. Personally, I think as a coach, if it's potentially going to go to a penalty shootout, you have decided who your penalty takers are.
So you take the
and if one of them isn't there, because you've got your first five, and then you've got your sixth, your seventh and the eighth, and if one of them, your first five, isn't there, well, the number 6 steps up.
But we had it during the World Cup 2014.
Yeah.
So we had the change of Tim de Krul, and then the next game against Argentina, the coach was thinking about doing the same. And then in the second half of the extra time, we had to change Robin van Persie. And suddenly everything changed. So we had Robin van Persie as the first penalty taker because he was our best penalty taker.